do want to mention this briefly. This was announced on Tuesday. For those clamoring for a second season of Mixed Match Challenge, well, you're in luck. The show is coming back, is being renewed for a second season in a mere 2 weeks. The show, I think, was hyped up for like weeks on end when it first debuted earlier on this year, right around Royal Rumble time. Now, it's only been 5 months since the last season. WWE's treating like it's been a year, it's an annual thing, like it only fucking ended 5 months ago. Like, calm down. The first season really wasn't that good to begin with. I thought it was enjoyable for what it was. Never really featured any amazing matches or anything along those lines. I thought it was good. For what it was, like I said, I thought it was enjoyable. Didn't really necessitate or justify doing a second season, but if they want to get their, the charities up or whatever to raise money for a certain charity, that's all well and good. If they want to fucking, get their Facebook numbers up or whatever the case might be, because if I recall correctly, the numbers for the show really were not lighting the world on fire during that first season. They were for maybe the first episode or two. Beyond that, it was a steady, slow decline for Mixed Match Challenge. And again, the show is not amazing enough to justify people tuning into that over like 205 Live or SmackDown. With so much content nowadays between Raw, between SmackDown, between 205 Live, between NXT, and now the renewal of Mixed Match Challenge. And even this past week, the Mae Young Classic came back on Wednesday night after NXT. In addition to all the other stuff they're doing on the network right now, not only the shows like Ride Along and Storytime and Table for Three and shows like that, but I'm talking, Total Divas is coming back in a couple weeks. We had Ms. and Mrs. wrap up their first season a few weeks ago. We have Evolution coming up next month. WWE Super Showdown coming up next month. We have Hell in a Cell next Sunday. We also have in case you forgot, the 1,000 episodes, the 1,000 episode celebration of SmackDown Live next month on October 16th. I completely forgot about it until like yesterday. So WWE is spending all this time hyping up so many things at once, and they wonder why so many of the things that they do not feel special. Because it feels like, at least on the Raw side, they focus on way too many things at once. And none of the things that they focus on really feel special as a result. Like Super Showdown, who cares? The build for Hell in a Cell, at least on the Raw side, very lackluster. Evolution, right now, I talked about it in an article for Daily DDT this past week, but it's kind of left something to be desired. Lita and Mickie James, which was a match that was added this past week to the pay-per-view. We had Trish Stratus and Alexa Bliss added a few weeks ago. All well and good, but if they don't make any storyline sense, then who the hell can possibly care? Like, I know they want to get retweets and their social media numbers up, which is exactly why they put out that dumbass graphic on Sunday, Monday, whatever it was, about, like, the Shield being the greatest faction of all time. I'm not even going to waste a split second talking about that, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to talk about it, conversate, get their numbers up on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, leave comments, all that other stuff. Why do you think they do it? It's for that reason alone. They don't care about your opinion. They don't care about my opinion. That's why they create those lists on .com. Sometimes they're on point. Most of the time, they're pretty polarizing, if only for the fact that they want to get you talking. They want you to come back and read their dumbass lists just so you can talk about it and share it on your social media platforms and get people to follow them on their various social media platforms. So I'm not surprised. But the point I'm trying to make here with Mixed Match Challenge is that it's just too much. It's too much, and it's unnecessary. It was pretty crazy. I was thinking right before, I think I was in class at that point when I read the announcement, that before I had read the announcement, I was thinking like, we have the Mae Young Classic coming up, and I cover all this stuff. Now, I probably made a mistake by covering the Mixed Match Challenge. I'm the type of person that if I start something, I can't stop it. So if I covered the first season, I'm going to cover the second season too. I don't know if I'll talk about it here in the show, but I certainly will write up a quick review for nextdaywrestling.net every Tuesday night after it goes off the air from around. And usually I am. But that's in addition to 205 Live and SmackDown, and again, everything else going on right now in WWE. I just think it's way too much. But again, purely my opinion. The show, again, the first time around really did not justify doing a second season. I thought it was good. The Miz and Asuka one, you would never know, because Asuka's done nothing of note since. In fact, Mere days after she won the Mixed Match Challenge, her undefeated streak was ended at the hands of Charlotte at WrestleMania. And what the fuck has she done since? So it's not like the winners went on to superstardom or something. Like, it was a mere 5 months ago, and people have already quickly moved on from it and have quickly forgotten about anything involving the Mixed Match Challenge, because it's a cool concept and they have some nice teams, especially this time around, which I'll get to in a second. But I will be covering it for the website, but beyond that, I really have no burning desire to put aside 20 minutes of my time, to put aside 20 minutes of my day to watch another season of Mixed Match Challenge, which will likely lead us into the close of 2018. But real quick, before we get to All In, I will run off the teams here for the second season of Mixed Match Challenge. We have a number of returning teams, 4 returning teams from last season, all of which I'm glad they're bringing back. Obviously, you have to bring back Miz and Asuka, who are the current reigning champions, so that didn't really surprise me that they did that. We have Miz and Asuka now that they're both on SmackDown, too. Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, Team Little Big from Raw, so I'm glad they're back, and Braun Strowman's now a heel, so it makes more sense. So I'm hoping they win the whole thing. I don't know why they wouldn't at this point, with Asuka no longer being undefeated, so I'm hoping they will. So we have Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, Miz and Asuka. We have Jimmy Uso and Naomi, Rusev and Lana, all teams that are returning from the last season. So for the new teams, we have the current SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and AJ Styles teaming up. We have R-Truth and Carmella, which was kind of kicked off this past week on SmackDown. Bobby Lashley and Sasha Banks, an interesting tandem. Finn Balor and Bayley, who obviously have history from their days in NXT. Not on TV, but like anyone who has closely followed the careers of Bayley and Balor since NXT know that they have a good chemistry on like the house shows and stuff, so that'll be fun to see. Kevin Owens and Natalya, 2 Canadian natives, so that kind of makes sense. A pairing that does not make sense, the last pairing here that I have written down, Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. What did we do to deserve that pairing? That sounds like a fucking disaster on paper. They have no chemistry. Someone tried to write into me on Twitter, which I appreciate. I appreciate that they were making up the logic for the fact that Jinder is trying to calm down Alicia Fox. That was what their logic was for this pairing. And I said, good on you for actually coming up with a logical explanation as to why they're teaming up, more than WWE probably has. They probably picked names out of a hat and put them together. I have no idea why Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox have to be on the show. Why waste a spot on them when you can give it to, and maybe Brie Bella won't be around for the long term, but, Brie and Bryan would be a good pick. You obviously now have Miz and Maurice, who aren't on the show. We have Miz and Asuka, which, again, I get because they're the reigning champions. But what else? There is no reason to not put Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega on the show. Now, they're better than this shit fucking show, but so is AJ Styles, and AJ's on the show. So, whatever. But yeah, I didn't really understand that we have like a renaissance of mixed tag team wrestling right now on SmackDown between Carmella and R-Truth, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, Miz and Maurice, Andrade and Zelina, and they're not even on the show. The pairing that makes the most sense isn't even on the show. Did you really need R-Truth and Carmella? No, you didn't. That's the answer. So it's really not worth getting bothered about just because it's a fucking show that means nothing. But still, I thought I would bring that up.